John Weber for AM Best TV. I'm speaking today to Bernhard Kotanko, a partner at McKinsey & Company. Bernhard is delivering an address to the IIS Executive Council at the Global Insurance Forum in Singapore. Bernhard, so glad you could speak with us today.
Thank you, John. Glad to be with you.
Bernhard, you're an expert in the Asian insurance market. Where are you seeing value in the Asian insurance market these days?
Yeah. So Asian insurance, especially life and health insurance, has been the global growth engine. However, what we need to see now is that the growth across Asia, especially also in the emerging Asian markets, has slowed down through COVID and even post-COVID. There is reasons individual by country, whether it's regulatory changes in places like Vietnam, whether it's macroeconomic challenges. But overall, we see the value is still, Asia is still the value growth engine for global insurance, especially in life and health. But it's become a more challenging ride. When we look at it more specifically by geography, we are long-term bullish on China. We remain bullish on this. Similarly on India, those markets have huge, fast-growing middle classes, aging populations that offer big value pools, specifically in quality protection, life and health. We also see a growing value pool in financing aging that can be retirement products and especially also serving elderly people. And thirdly, we see a big value pool in quality distribution. Quality distribution trumps capacity, and we strongly recommend for the sector to focus more on professionalizing sales forces than just adding capacity.
Have there been any changing trends you've been noticing from Asian insurers?
So I think there is post-COVID, what we do see is that really digital hybrid has become the standard. So the complete interaction of how your agents, how banks operate, and how they are using digital technologies to engage with customers, that is clearly a change. The second change comes from accounting and regulation. What we do see in several geographies, take Japan as an example, with new regulatory and solvency standards, as well as, of course, the impact of IFRS 17, we see a much greater importance on really managing capital, managing your balance sheets. Something that we have seen in Europe and North America already several years ago is now also arriving in Asia. More importantly, in the mature markets like Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Australia. But we're going to see this also across geographies. The other big trend I really want to call out is what is the right portfolio and also the competitive dynamics between domestic and international. We do see an increasing divide between the winners in specific markets and those that struggle. And that competitive dynamic has been accelerating over the past 2 years.
Bernhard, you just mentioned digital technology. Have Asian insurers embraced technology, particularly AI, with the same exuberance as their North American counterparts?
John, this is a very good question. I would say everybody explores, everybody tries to build capabilities, everybody pilots use cases. Our research shows not only material productivity opportunities for the insurance sector, but also ways to better engage with customers and improve the service quality. So we are overall bullish on the opportunities from AI for the insurance sector. I would say Asia is neither lagging nor leading relative to North America and also Europe. But what is a big challenge is how can you really scale those use cases to get its full impact? I think this is where many in the sector are still struggling to get the full economic benefit from these cases.
Do you think Asia's insurance market has reached an inflection point due to the emergence of embedded insurance?
So at McKinsey, we just recently published a very optimistic outlook on embedded insurance. And why are we optimistic? When we look at the protection gap studies, which are widely published from various institutions, we see that the Asian population needs more protection. At the same time, we do see that, and protection both in life and health, as well as in general insurance, to be very clear here, John. What we also do see, however, is that the current main distribution models, agency, bank assurance, in some markets, brokerage, is very much focused to the more affluent, upper middle class customer segments. And we see that there is a space to really create quicker, more transactional products that really touch the customer when there is an immediate emotional need to get that protection. And given the strong digital affinity of Asian populations, the willingness to share also personal data in exchange for a good deal, and the power of Asian super apps and digital ecosystems, all these reasons put together, we are bullish on embedded insurance across sectors. And we will see, I think, especially the owners of such digital ecosystems leveraging this power more and more to also offer more services, including insurance, which is a very logical one. Is it an inflection point? We need to acknowledge that this is early days and it's small scale, but it can offer disruptors a real access to markets. And it will actually allow, that is my personal macro optimism, it will allow a better and wider insurance penetration with smaller products, but for wider groups of audiences on these affinity platforms.
Bernhard, what sort of growth and opportunity are you noticing in Asia?
So I think of course, the big underlying growth trend is still the growing middle class and the growing affluent population. We just did an analysis. The vast majority of the growth comes from this, a growing middle class, urbanization, and an increasing number of affluent households. That's a given. On top of that, we do see some interesting emerging features. I would say number one is the much greater female labor market participation really gives women more influence than they already have. And that is, I think, a real opportunity, not just for the insurance sector to develop growth, but actually also to create a more resilient society and a great opportunity also to really get fuller inclusion. A second theme I would say is, and I mentioned this earlier, the aging of society really creates now a group of 60 plus customers, which in the past often were seen only as beneficiaries of insurance, but not really as customers. I think that will change. And thirdly, I want to call out the family structures in Asia are evolving. We see smaller household sizes. We see many more single households. And the question will be, how do those actually look at protection when historically protection was seen as a family multi-generational cover? And now we see a much greater number of single person households that have different risks, different needs, different quest for advice. So those changes will affect the dynamics in the sector quite heavily.
Thanks for speaking with us today, Bernhard.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was Bernhard Kotanko, a partner at McKinsey & Company, and I'm John Weber for IM Best TV.